Hi, I'm Master Sergeant Eric Wagner, United States Air Force. I worked for Joint Base Andrews, Headquarters Air Force District of Washington, A35, Plans and Operations Division. I'm also a Liberty University student. And for my graduate studies, our class in Human Services Counseling, I have to submit for Interpersonal Communications class, I have to submit a video discussing my overarching life goals.
Daddy, I love you!
Oh, thanks, guys. Hey, I'm making a video for my class. Say hi to the camera.
Hi, camera.
Okay, you guys go upstairs and... That's okay, you guys go on upstairs and clean up
Our
the
dad
playroom.
is the best in the whole wide world.
Thank you, sweetie. You guys go clean up the playroom. I'll help you when I'm done.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dad.
Bye. So, overarching life goals. And as you can see, those are my overarching life goals. To help them grow and become well-rounded and morally grounded adults. So I need to instill good morals and values in them. But for the sake of this class, I'm going to discuss another overarching life goal that I've had. And it's simple. It's quite simple. I've always had the goal to want to help others, to help those who are in need. And that's what I'm going to discuss today. I grew up in a small town in rural Indiana. We were a lower class family, small town, and all through school, all through high school, and even after high school, I bounced around and lived in a couple of other areas throughout the Midwest: Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, but I always had a deep feeling that there was more to life out there, that I should be doing more with my life. And spring of 1999, I called up one of my old best friends as I was going back up to Indiana for a wedding, only to find out he had joined the military and moved away to Texas. I got back in touch with him, and lo and behold, he talked me into joining the military, and here I am 17 years later. It's been a great ride so far, but joining the military changed me. It gave me a purpose, and it helped me feel, it helped feed that need that I needed to do more with my life and needed to help others. My job in the military is called bioenvironmental engineering, and we do occupational safety and health, environmental protection, emergency management, and disaster preparedness. And throughout those things, it's helped feed my need to want to help others. And the military has also given me a plethora of opportunity to volunteer. Orphanages, homeless shelters, Habitat for Humanity, those kind of things. But with my studies in Liberty University, Human Services Counseling, I hope to one day maybe lead support groups for either Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. Because drugs and alcohol have played a profound negative impact for my life personally. Because throughout my family, we've had issues with drugs and alcohol. Whether it has been through some of my cousins, nieces, and nephews who were addicted to prescription pain medication, heavy drinking, and a couple of years ago, I even lost a step-nephew to a heroin overdose. He was not even 30 years old and had a 7-year-old daughter at the time. I couldn't imagine leaving my children without a father. So that's the path that I would like to eventually tackle. So taking this class, I learned that through the Uniquely You report, I learned that my behavioral blend is made up of what is known as the SC steady component types, as you can see here. And that is the personality type that people expect of me. And the This Is Me personality types, I ranged on the CIS, Component Influencing Specialist. And what this basically means is that on the chart for what people expect of me, people expect me to be submissive and competent. Now, I feel that comes about because of my being an enlisted member in the military. That's just something we're expected to be: submissive and competent. I'm also kind of shy, but I'm a good friend. I'm very personable. I have good people skills. Let's see. I do not like being in the limelight. I get nervous. I don't like being up in the front of people, being in the spotlight. I'm very passive. I'm a reserved leader, but I'm a good follower because I take direction and follow directions well. I respond best to those who need help and my investigative skills. I'm not pushy or aggressive, and prefer peace and harmony in organization. And I'm good at avoiding conflict or resolving conflict as well. Some of the communication barriers that I learned throughout this class are, well, one, I learned that the definition of conflict is the interaction or interdependent people who perceive incompatible goals and interference from each other when achieving those goals. And like I said, from my behavioral blend, I don't like conflict and I don't like confrontation. I get uncomfortable, and I also get uncomfortable if I'm when I'm conversing with someone and they get emotional or start crying. I tend to get close off and avoid those kind of situations. But throughout the text readings, I learned in the group counseling book from Jacobs that conflict is a natural consequence of joining a group. So it's something I'm just going to have to learn to deal with. And I also learned that when someone does start to cry, not to leave them alone with their escalating emotions, but rather to help them sort them out and find out what is the underlying issue that's causing them to become emotional. Some of the resources and strategies that I've learned through my textbooks are the techniques in the Why Don't We Listen Better book, the talker-listener card, the focusing on listening and empathetic listening, as Burley Allen referenced in Listening, the Forgotten Skill. Empathetic listening is to listen without judgment, to put yourself in the other person's shoes and try to understand what they're going through. So one of the action plans I'd like to start to implement, also from the Why Don't We Listen Better book by James Peterson, is, like I mentioned before, the talker-listener card, and also the mealtime game. I'd like to start incorporating that, playing that with my family to help my children to become better listeners as well. I have to constantly remind myself to be a better listener and to learn to ask better questions to understand what the person is saying and the message that they are trying to convey. So in conclusion, I would like to work, in some sort of capacity of helping people through the Red Cross or USAID or whatever, trauma victims. But if I end up finding myself as a support group therapist, I want to know that I've set myself up to be a good counselor. And through all my experience in the military and these classes, I do feel that I am doing more to help people, and I don't feel like there's more to life out there anymore. I feel like I'm there, but my work is still not done. Thank you. I'm Eric Wagner for Liberty University.